Don Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Artie Bomano.
Here.
Got Nancy's all set. Judge is all set. Okay, you guys ready?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to call this workshop to order on June 2nd of 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams,
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto,
Here.
Councilmember Stoyl,
Here.
Councilmember Nichols,
Here.
Councilmember at-large Vanden Heuver.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag
Of the
of the United States of America
and to the republic
which
which
stands
stands
one
one
nation
nation
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all. We'll skip over the certification of prior meetings, reading of the privilege of the floor and privilege of the floor. Communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, I will save my comments for the official meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to communications of public and petitions.
Number one, letter from Scott Meekus notifying the city that Events by Scott is canceling the Marauder Trotter 5K run walk scheduled for July 4th, 2020 due to COVID-19, and instead are turning it into a virtual race where participants can register to run or walk any hours on their own on July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 2020. Also would like to talk to someone for permission to have TRACWA certify the course and paint start and finish designations on the road so people can use the course for personal fitness.
Any discussion, council? I do have a question. I was going to ask prior to this meeting that we're having right now, a workshop. I spoke to the city clerk, and I just want to make sure that also with Chief Edwards and Chief Portolano that this is all right to do, or you guys got any comments on that?
Paul, my only issue with it is that race we usually run down Lakefront Boulevard. I'd have to defer to Director Woodbury if it's possible for them to use that area.
Okay.
May I interject, sir?
Chief, I agree. It's a concern.
Chairman, can I interject, sir?
And
Sure,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know the answer right now. So I think if we could refer,
On January 27th, when the original request came in, he asked for police to cross the pier, to make the pier crossing. This is kind of allowing people to do that on their own, and if they're doing it for time, I just feel that there's some liability there.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is this, I'm going to need a motion to refer to appropriate departments as well as approved subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. But I also, I definitely want Chief Edwards and Chief Portolano, also with the city attorney, to take a hard look at this, just to cover the city's assets on this. But I need a motion.
Councilman Vanden Heuver,
Yes, Councilman Bomano.
I have a suggestion. If it doesn't work, we have an old 5K route. Since this ain't going to be an actual race and it's going to cover 2 days, possibly they could use that.
Okay.
Ran through the point. I mean, Chief remembers it ran through the
Right,
point
yeah.
down to Memorial Park. Since it's a 3-day thing and it's individuals doing it, if it doesn't work through the law department and through the chief and everything, possibly they could reroute it through there.
Okay, like I said, we'll just, as of tonight, we'll refer this, and then, Marty, that's a great idea if you can bring that up and get in correspondence with the police chief and with the city attorney for a second option on this.
Okay,
Okay.
Good idea, Marty.
thanks.
You need a motion
First,
So moved.
by Bomano and seconded by Stoyl.
Shall I go on, sir?
Yes, you can.
Number 2, loudspeaker application request from Reverend Carlos Yeda on behalf of Iglesia Etemani AG for permission to use loudspeakers for religious services in their parking lot on Sunday, starting May 31st, 2020, from 12 p.m. until 2 p.m. until regular church services can resume after COVID-19 restrictions are listed. Participants will remain in their vehicles. This is also a ratification of last Sunday, sir.
Any discussion, council?
Yeah, I did have a chance to see this. There were only 1 or 2 people that were not in their vehicles, but it was a very, very, very well conducted service. It was beautiful.
Good. It's always good to hear. Okay, so then we'll need a motion to refer to my appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate insurance as usual conditions
I make a motion.
by Nichols, seconded by
I'll second it.
Bomano.
Sir, did you want me to go over the 2 privilege or the 1 privilege of the floor letter that we have?
We'll save that for a regular meeting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Moving on to standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams.
Nothing for here.
I'm gonna wait for later now.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilman Bomano.
Just one quick question for Randy. When can the Roosevelt residents inspect their dirt by Mr. Soil's house?
We have not gotten a delivery on topsoil yet, but they'll be the first one to get it.
Okay, thank you, Randy. That's all I have, Paul.
Thank you.
We have,
Councilman Stoyl.
repair. Yeah. The people on Seal Street are waiting for a lot of repair.
Councilman Stoyl.
Yeah, right along with Marty there. Listen, Randy, this is for you. I don't want to have to see neighbors cutting that island. Listen, if we're short of people, and I believe we've got posted jobs open, let's get these things filled. You know, I don't want to hear any more excuses. The neighbors are cutting that island. Yeah, the guys cut it today. Thank you for getting that done because they're very appreciative. And I want to also thank the police chief for, well, he knows what I'm talking about. He kept the situation from a potential situation that didn't turn out, but he was all over him and his department. I thank you, David.
I followed up on that today as well, Judge. I'll fill you in on it.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me, Paul.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Nichols.
I don't know if this is gonna go on under unfinished business or this. On meeting ago, we had all those requests to play ball. Is somebody gonna notify them of them not being able to?
If I may, we have been in contact with just about everybody who's put in a request for the ball fields. They understand that if the ball fields are not open, that they are just not able to use them. And they make constant calls to us because this is a moving target and things change on a daily basis. So we are in touch with everybody who has made a request for the ball field.
I do know that 3 have sent in checks. Those checks need to be returned to them. They are in youth department.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I intervene, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If they sent the checks in, they want to make sure that if they can have it, they could have it. If we return the check, that opens that date for anyone else to come in and jump in. I would suggest that we reach out to them first to ascertain if they would like us to hold on to that date for them. Without that check, we won't be able to hold the date for them.
Then maybe Patty and rec secretary could contact them.
Absolutely.
Will someone notify her to do so?
Absolutely.
Got you on your word on that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll follow up with Ryan and with Patty just to go over that. But you know, that makes sense that you got to hold your spot for that. So if it is canceled, then they get the refund on it. So it makes sense. Thank you.
Well, with the rec and youth closed right now, and I know Patty does go in a couple times a week, and nobody really has been in contact with her as to what to do in that situation.
Well, since it's been the first time it's ever happened, I think that we'll get that straightened out with everybody, and hopefully we'll never have to go through this again in our lives. But
I know.
we'll figure it out. But that's a good point. But thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
listen, during my thing, I missed it. I'd like to ask somebody, the mayor, somebody, are the pavilions open and these playgrounds open again? Because the tape and all that stuff is being ripped off these playgrounds at the point. And
The playgrounds are not open as of yet. The pavilions are still usable as long as they're practicing social distancing. If they're not practicing social distancing and it becomes an issue, then we'll have to shut those down as well.
Thank you, Mayor. I was worried about the playground with the young kids. Could we get some more tape around those things?
Sure.
Yes, we will.
Thank you.
Is that Nancy?
I'm done.
Thanks. I do have some things, but I'll mention that at our regular meeting. Moving on to unfinished business. Seeing none, we'll go to pre-filed resolutions.
Number 69, resolution awarding bid for demolition of 636 Canary Street, Columbus Avenue. I'm sorry, 207 Columbus Avenue, 49 East 2nd Street, and 613 Main Street.
Any discussion, council?
Are these through the land bank?
Properties are controlled by the land bank. They've taken control of them for demolition.
And the land
Any
bank,
more discussion?
the land bank's gonna pick up the expense for the demolition?
With the shared expense, with the community development block grant funds and the land bank. For example, 636 Canary is outside of the zone that the CDBG money can be used. So that will be, the city will be reimbursed from the land bank for that demolition.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, number 70.
Number 70, resolution awarding bid for asbestos abatement of 636 Canary Street and 33 West 3rd Street.
Any discussion, council? 71.
Number 71, resolution awarding bid for controlled demolition of 524 Park Avenue and 911 Jeanette Street.
Any discussion, council? Moving on to new business. Seeing no new business. Need a motion to adjourn
So moved.
by Williams, second by Stoyl. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto,
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl,
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols,
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for our regular meeting. So take a break and be back at 5:30. Thank you.
I just hit that.
So don't worry about that. Shit. I wasn't sure.
Kate put a message up. Kate put a message up. Host is asking you to unmute yourself. Yes, Joey. Host was asking for you to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Round two, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Don, you all set?
Yes.
Marty? Judge? Jed, you got your Nancy also.
I'm here. Gigi still on mute.
Yep. Jed, you good to go now?
I'm good.
I'm muted.
City Clerk Ramos, you ready to go?
Absolutely, sir.
Okay, let's rock and roll.
The mayor's muted. David's muted.
I'd like to call this meeting in order. The regular common council meeting to order on June 2nd, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams,
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto,
Here,
Councilmember Stoyl,
Here.
Councilmember Nichols,
Here.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Here, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
republic
Stands.
for which it stands,
One
one
nation.
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Certification of prior meeting.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, May 11, 2020 was presented to the mayor on Wednesday, May 27, 2020 pursuant to section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter. All items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof I have here to set my hand and the seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, the second day of June, 2020.
Need a motion dispensing the reading of the minutes
So moved.
so move.
by Councilman Stoyl, seconded by Councilman Williams. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto,
aye,
Councilmember Stoyl,
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols,
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Aye, carried. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations. Seeing there's
I only
none.
have one letter for the privilege of the floor, sir. Actually, two, if you allow me to read a thank you letter from the Getsemani Church.
Whatever you want to do, Edwin.
Okay, we'll start with that one. June 2nd, 2020, Mayor Willie Rosa, City of Dunkirk Administration, City of Dunkirk Councilman. I, Pastor Carlos Llera, board members, and the congregation of Iglesia Getsemani AG would like to take this opportunity to thank you for approving the loudspeaker permit in such a short time. This allowed the church to be able to have our Sunday services in a way that otherwise we would not have been able to. Again, thank you very much. We appreciate the time used to approve this and your willingness to help the church at this time of need. Very truly yours, Pastor Carlos Llera.
I'm glad we could help. It's awesome. Good.
The second is a letter from Mary Louise McGraw, 736 Swan Street, Dunkirk, New York. I can understand and appreciate the unique problems that are affecting the day-to-day operation of the city of Dunkirk during this COVID-19 shutdown. That being said, it should not stop the effectiveness of daily operations, but rather give the mayor the opportunity to best utilize city employees by being creative and by redirecting their work assignments. The sad fact is that there are city employees that are getting their paychecks, but are sitting at home doing nothing. Nancy Nichols brought up the fact that many homes residents are not in compliance with a legible address being posted on the building, which is not in compliance with city ordinance. How hard would it be to assign a clerical person to make a citywide assessment of the buildings who lack address numbers? A city map, listing of buildings, a laptop, and a city vehicle would provide valuable information to take to the next step in compliance. And I don't want to hear that the union would not agree with this temporary work assignment because no has asked or try to get this accomplished. Considering the uniqueness of the COVID-19 situations, there are no reason why this can't be done. It's not like you're asking a clerical person to run a jackhammer for 8 hours. And I and many people on this city feel that if you are going to get a paycheck, you should be doing something to earn it. I have listened to the pleas of the city of the Dunkirk Public Works Department for additional employees to be hired for almost 2 years. The money is in the budget. There have been interviews and nothing has been done to move forward with this scenario. I want to know why this hasn't been taken care of. I don't want to hear that this is no HR director to do this hiring. The city has hired many people without said position in the past, and in my opinion, that is just an excuse and or retaliatory act for the council eliminating the position. As far as I am concerned, the buck stops with Mayor Rosa. You have Mr. Hayden in the personnel department. You have Randy Woodbury, who have great knowledge of the skills that are required for these two jobs. To my knowledge, there is a young man who interviewed for said position in 2015 and again just recently, who has the skills, the proper CDL license, and an excellent work history in the county department. What in God's name is the problem? Stop dragging your feet and micromanaging, because it appears to a lot of people that you are just playing games. I am very encouraged by the availability of the HUD grant money, which is being made available to help business owners in the city of Dunkirk. I would like to know if there is a finite date for applications to be submitted, and would like to see a list of businesses who applied, a list of applications that were completed with all needed information to make it to the award stage, and finally how much was awarded to each individual business. Finally, I was watching a committee meeting online, and there was a discussion about a new facility that is being built in conjunction with Mr. Pringle. Utilities were being discussed, and the fact that buildings would have city water, city sewer, and electric, but no natural gas provision. It was voiced at the meeting that Mr. Pringle did not want a gas hookup. If this is a joint monetary effort that build that building, who could have a different owner operator in 5 years, there should be a natural gas hookup installed for potential use in the future. Not sure of any reasoning, but why would anybody not have a gas hookup in a new building? I appreciate having this venue to ask these questions to the mayor and the council. And since I have taken the time to separate each point, I would like the councilman at large to redirect each section up to the appropriate person to answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, it's quite a bit here. Let's start with Rebecca. Is there an expiration date on that small business loan?
There is not an expiration date. It's just when the funds are totally used up. Right now, we have 26 applications that have came in. We sent out roughly 50 plus to different local businesses within the past week. Out of the 26 that we have so far, we have 12 that are ready to be funded, and I sent the council that list today. I'm assuming that within the next 2 weeks, we will probably see the funds run out. So I stress to the public that if you own a small business and you're looking for some help, please reach out to us and we'll get you that application, walk you through what you need to be eligible and all of the documentation that we need. And we're just trying, Jill and I are working as hard as we can to make sure that everyone is getting us everything we need. We have a few, obviously, out of the 26 that we have right now, the 12 are ready to go, and we're working through all the others that still need documentation for us. So it's going really well, and I think we're getting some great feedback.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for that email today. It's great that we can have some kind of list on who's getting the funds, and from what I looked at today, all those people are well deserved. So I mean, it's a good thing, and hopefully, we can utilize everything like you just said. And unfortunately, there's not any more that we can get, but as long as we're helping people, that's the name of the game. I appreciate it very much, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Second one, just trying to follow, I didn't know I had asked this, but, the building inspector, what's the story with the house numbers that Mr. McGraw asked?
Well, we've released an article to the Observer for requirements for posting the number on your residence. This is just one of the many property issues that we patrol and maintain, and we've made a concerted effort that when we send a violation out, if the house number is also an issue, to add that to the lists.
Okay. So let's see, Mayor, I guess you can just answer both of these. I was gonna ask, how many employees do we have off? And when are they when's the target date to get these people back? And, with the new positions that I believe this, I was talking to Rainey at our Department of Public Works. I guess they closed last week for the 4 positions. Just wondering when you're gonna fill those 4 positions. That was for the mayor.
He's muted.
Move on, get to Randy.
Okay, so with this COVID-19 situation, as you know, we are still in a state of emergency per the orders of the governor. We cannot bring these folks back. We have 50% of our staff working. And again, these are essential people. That's the order that we're working under, and we have to obey that order. So as far as bringing people back, we are waiting for the governor to give the okay on that. As far as positions being filled, I want to remind the council that a couple meetings ago, we talked about the shortage in revenues that we are going to be experiencing. And we expect and are projected to be well over $1 million in the red at the end of this year. And that's just with the COVID-19 situation. With regards to these positions, we are in the process of the hiring process for these positions, and they will be, taken care of accordingly. Ultimately, the decision to pick and interview people, we interview people with a department head, our personnel administrator, and the mayor. And we make decisions based on, what's best for the city as far as their abilities and their credentials and the interview. I can't tell you who it is that's going to be hired if it's somebody new. But again, the process takes time, and we are in that process. It's not that we're not going to hire some people. We are going to hire them. As far as positions that may be vacant, some of them may not be filled. We are currently in negotiations with the unions, and there are some issues that we are discussing now in negotiations regarding some of these positions. We have currently a grievance on one of these positions that we are negotiating, and I'm hoping we can resolve our differences in the city's best interest. So these are issues that have been ongoing for years now that we are trying to resolve in negotiations. But as far as the positions go, all of them that were mentioned at the last meeting are positions still.
Okay. Yeah, I've been really close contact with the union. This is the first I heard of that. Anyone's in discussions about the contract or negotiations with you, Mayor. I just hope that these positions are filled before we start hiring part-time, or else I think we're going to be in a lot of trouble. But I just don't understand why the COVID phone call to the governor or to somebody that could say all hands on deck for the city taxpayers, because our workload as a city is not decreasing, it's increasing with people being home. So like I mentioned at the Department of Public Works meeting, we need to get these positions filled. We need to get public works and parks manpower to get these jobs accomplished for the taxpayers of the city of Dunkirk. My problem is that you have people sitting home getting paid with taxpayers' money and they're not doing anything. I don't understand why we can't have them watch the gate at Lucas Avenue, or put them behind a lawnmower, or put them to trim wood, trim hedges, or put a shovel in their hands. I understand this is a new area that we're in right now, but it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, with your poll that you keep saying that you have with the governor, maybe you can have some poll to get some right things done and accomplished in the city of Dunkirk for our workforce. We need people, manpower, to establish a good work ethic and get these jobs done in the city of Dunkirk. It seems the ball's flying to everyone else except the person that's trying to make this decision. This council, majority of the council backs, you know, our union and our workers of the city of Dunkirk, and they need help, and we're not giving them help. Bottom line. Would anyone else like to mention anything about that?
Mr. Chair, if I could just respond to you, just to let you know that the decision is not being made by myself, it's made by the governor. And I don't know where you've heard that I have that kind of influence. I do have a good relationship with the governor and his staff, but all municipalities in the state are dealing with this very same issue. You know, I was talking to my colleague, the mayor of Olean, Bill Aiello, and he basically has told me that he's done a hiring freeze over there to deal with the financial repercussions and impact that the COVID situation is causing. And my colleague in Jamestown is actually proposing layoffs out there. So this is the situation that's going on in municipalities across the state. The city of Dunkirk is not the only one experiencing these things. I, for the most part, agree with just about everything that you've said. My feelings are exactly the same. I don't agree that people are sent home and are getting paid a full pay by the city taxpayers. That is beyond our control. You're more than welcome to send a letter or make phone calls to the state to see if there's anything that can be done. But I've already, mentioned, my opinion. And like I said, we have our 2 state representatives who have also spoken very publicly against some of the governor's actions, and we are still here dealing with it. So unfortunately, this is a situation beyond our control. And as far as the union and the workers go, we have a pretty good relationship with all 4 unions in the city currently, and I want to maintain that. So I'm doing everything that I can on my part to ensure that the city taxpayers are getting provided the best service that we can possibly provide, and also that our staff are being provided the tools that they need and the help that they need as well.
Right. Mayor, is there any way that you could talk or maybe direct your department heads to lend somebody if they need a hand? Like take somebody from, from the streets to go over to water department, parks to, public works. I mean, is that a directive that you have to give your department head to send somebody over to help these other units, these other departments out?
That would be a discussion that I have with the department head, and I would be the person approving that move. We are in a state of emergency currently, so that move would be legally correct if we did that. If there are situations in any division or department where they need extra help, all the department head needs to do is come to me to let me know, and then I can either approve or disapprove of it.
Okay. So you just to make sure that you and I are on the same page here, that we're getting bombarded with the phone calls of these employees getting home and getting paid, and nothing is, we're not seeing the people come back and they're getting paid, and the workload's still there. So the answer that I'm going to give them is directly what you said tonight, correct? We're in a state of emergency. They cannot come back. Plain and simple. Is that what you're saying?
Simple, plain and simple. This is not just happening here in the city of Dunkirk. This is happening across all municipalities in the state. We have a councilman that works for the county, and he's currently furloughed doing exactly what we are paying our folks to do, which is to be home. This is not something that we can control. So I just want to reiterate that people, like I said before, I agree with the citizens, the taxpayers, to have somebody sent home and pay them a full salary. That left a real sour taste in my mouth, but it was something I had to do. And there's nothing that we can do about that.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. Thanks for your response. I mean, hopefully we cleared that up tonight. All right, moving on. Communications from mayors and disapproval messages.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a couple of announcements. Chautauqua County Emergency Services Coordinator, John Griffiths, has reached out to meet myself and the mayor of Jamestown to let us know that they have PPE equipment to provide for businesses that are opening up for phase 2. Today was the first day for them to open. If any businesses are interested, they can go online. This was in the paper today, but the website would be Chaut, CHAUTCOFIRE, chautcofire.org. And they can get the equipment delivered right to their business. So just wanted to put that out there. I also wanted to announce that the dog park will be opening this week. There was questions about whether or not it could open. I had confirmation from the state where dog parks are allowed to be open. So we will be opening this week. Also, the small business loan program, Rebecca's already given you the update on that. We do have the information and you guys have received it. That's the updated information that you guys have received. Also, we received an email from 3 individuals that are planning to do a peaceful demonstration here in the city of Dunkirk. This is supposed to happen on Saturday at 11 a.m. They did reach out to myself and Chief Ortolano. We did schedule a meeting with them yesterday. We did meet with them, and I thought the meeting went well. Their intentions are to have a very peaceful demonstration. Basically, they want to walk from the pier over to City Hall and then have some speakers there. And Chief, I will defer to you to just go over. You had a little more communication with them than I have. Is he muted?
I think he's muted.
How's that? That better?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead,
Okay.
Chief. Gotcha.
Okay, I talked to them again today as well. The mayor and I met with them yesterday. These are 3 high school girls who, very nice young ladies, are just really concerned about our community. They know we don't have any issues here, but they just want to show their support for what's going on in the country and their support for our police department as well. So we will help them on Saturday. We will get them up Central Avenue to the city hall here, and hopefully have a nice peaceful walk and some good dialogue for the betterment of the community. And I think it's going to be just fine.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief Ortolano. Appreciate it for the update. Moving on, communications, public and petitions. Edwin.
Number 1, letter from Scott Meekus notifying the city that Events by Scott is canceling the Marauder Trotter 5K run walk scheduled for July 4th, 2020 due to COVID-19, and instead are turning it into a virtual race where participants can register to run or walk any hours on their own on July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 2020. Also would like to talk with someone for permission to have TrackWa certify the course and paint start and finish designations on the road so people can use the course for personal fitness.
Any discussion, council?
Gonna do, are you going to change it as requested by Marty with his suggestion? To
Yeah,
do it,
we already did it. We did it in a workshop, so it's all set.
well, the people that are viewing it that didn't view the workshop might be interested in the change of plans.
I'll
Edwin-
chime in,
Edwin-
Councilwoman, again. I think we need to get with Director Woodbury because I believe that the original course that uses Lakefront Boulevard is most likely not going to be usable for liability purposes on the city because of the issues from the storm last year. So I know Councilman Bomano had talked about possibly moving it to the point where the school cross-country team had a course that they ran. So that'd be something that we would need to look at and then get back to them on.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll just, like I said earlier, we'll just refer this and have you guys hash it out and make sure that, liability is covered from the city point of view. Again, Councilman Bomano and the city attorney and Chief Ortolano and Chief Edwards, if you guys can correspond on that, and then we'll go with that.
No problem.
Thank you for your help. Anybody else? Any discussion on this? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to appropriate departments as well as approved subject to appropriate insurance and usual conditions.
First,
By Bomano, second by Stoyl. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto,
aye.
Councilmember Stoyl,
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols,
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Aye, carried. Number two.
Number two, loudspeaker application request from Reverend Carlos Llera on behalf of Iglesia Getsemani AG for permission to use loudspeakers for religious services in their parking lot on Sunday, starting May 31st, 2020, from 12 p.m. until 2 p.m. until regular church services can resume after COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. Participants will remain in their vehicles. This
Any
is
discussion,
also
Council?
ratification, sir, for this past Sunday.
Thank you. Any discussion, Council?
Again, I will say that I did witness it. It was a beautiful, beautiful service.
Thank you, Councilwoman Nichols. Appreciate that. It's always good to hear. I need a motion to refer to appropriate departments as well as approved subject and appropriate insurance as usual conditions. By Nichols, seconded by Councilman Pomano. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto,
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl,
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols,
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Aye, carried. Moving on to reports to standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams.
Glenn, the property on 14 Oslot, is there any further update on that one, on what's going on there? Nobody's living there. They're not still pumping stuff out into the backyard?
Is this appropriate to comment on that? I can give you an update. There is a violation sent on that. We did get them to relocate the discharging water. There's, they were served a notice for having an occupant in there without a certificate of occupancy. And front yard parking and some porches that are not structurally safe. And is there, I think that is the list off the top of my head.
All right. Do we know if that person that was living there then is out then now, or, I mean, if they shouldn't have had anybody there? Doesn't sound like it's that safe of a place to be at.
I believe that there is an upstairs tenant living there.
All right. What ends up happening from there then? If they're not supposed to have anybody there, what ends up happening?
Well, the next step is the court, and the court system is closed, so I haven't issued any appearance tickets.
Okay. Also on the lines of landlords / slumlords, there seems to be a certain few different people that own some houses, that rent them out and they don't really take care of their properties. Is there anything that the city can do to keep those landlords that we've already have troubles with in the city, to keep them from buying more properties that become more troubles in the city from like the land bank or anything?
I can speak to that, council member. The land bank has the power to sort of filter through who buys and who sells. The city doesn't have the power to do that. We don't have the power to regulate the private market. So whoever buys, whoever sells, we have no say in that. Where we step in is once there's code violations identified, we can submit letters, and then those letters become summonses to come to court. Unfortunately, with COVID-19, the courts are just starting to unfreeze and accepting some electrical, or I should say online submissions, but they aren't accepting anything for housing code violations, BTLs, evictions, et cetera. As to evictions, and you were asking about this earlier, the state is under a moratorium on all evictions and removals, whether it's for non-payment, lease breach, or holdover tenancies, until August 19th. And that may be extended again. I have heard no indication otherwise. So anybody that is in need of legal assistance to remove a tenant, it would be August 20th when the courts are open to file for evictions.
Okay, thank you.
And
So
also,
that one house on Ocelot Street then, is that, Glenn, is that in your opinion that's unsafe to have somebody there, or is it just that they don't have the certificate and that's what the problem is, why you don't think somebody should be there? Glenn's still there?
This was a recent acquisition, and there were outstanding violations that person kind of bought when they bought the property.
Okay.
And, I know that they are a little overstretched right now.
All right, it's safe though for somebody to be living there? Whether they have the certificate or not, it's safe. It's a safe dwelling for somebody, I guess that's what I'm asking.
It has not been, it has not been designated an unsafe building.
Okay. All right, so then, I think Rebecca was gonna try to say something.
I just wanted to let you know, we've had a really good working relationship with the land bank, and we go out to, people that are interested in purchasing, people have to submit plans, make sure that they're improving the housing. They go through a whole selection process in who they actually sell the property to. So I've been working hand in hand with Gina when they do have properties that they're selling in the city.
All right, thank you. I have probably 4 different people from different sections of the city that all have the complaint for the one same landlord. Instead of saying it on the meeting, I'll email you. You probably know who it is already anyways, but I'll email you and Glenn and let you know, just so you could pass that word on to the land bank, because until they start taking care of the properties that they already own, they probably shouldn't be buying up more. Just my opinion, I guess, but also the opinions of a few people that have contacted me. Well, Rebecca's on too. Randy's there too. A couple weeks ago at the meeting, I mentioned asking to get something at the pier. There still seems to be, I don't know what the public's thinking, because even the old style of the pier, you couldn't just stop at the end of it and block traffic. But there seems to be a lot of people doing it. I rode through the other day, and I will call out, because the ones that have something marked on their car, it's easy to say who it is there. But Chautauqua County EMS vehicle was sitting there, 2 guys in the truck sitting there eating lunch or doing something there. They weren't on the lawn, but they were on that little brick side off there. But there's a parking lot, like 25, 50 feet to your to your left when you're sitting there. Anybody that's going to want to park there at the end, that's for people, that's for traffic to drive through, and you shouldn't be stopping there. The other ones that I've seen parking, blocking a lot of that is that border control. There's 3 vehicles for them, and they seem to be parking down there a lot too. So I don't know if we could reach out to any of those agencies to let them know that when their employees are driving through, they really shouldn't be parking at the end of the dock, whether it's that first turnaround or the one that's further out there closer to the green space. But there's also still people that like to pull in off of the right in on the grass and have half the vehicle on the grass and the other half on the concrete or the pavement there. So I really wish that we could do something. And unfortunately, I think I said it at the DPW committee meeting, unfortunately, people know enough not to park right on their lawn and don't want people parking on their lawn, but for some reason, they think it's okay to just go up and park on the grass. And we really shouldn't have to make signs to say that. But from what I'm seeing, I do believe that we have to put signs or put something on the pavement to do that. So I'll keep bringing it up so I see that we have a sign or something done so that we can take care of that. Also, we had our first DPW Zoom meeting last Thursday. I thought it went pretty well. I already said that I think it's the 24th of June. We're going to do another DPW meeting through Zoom, and then we'll evaluate after that on if we can be going in and having one live. But as for the June meeting, it will be there. As discussed earlier, we did talk about hiring and different positions. We already got a bit of an answer about that. One interesting note is the DPW director and the streets department supervisor were both at the Zoom DPW meeting, and I asked the street supervisor how many employees he has and how many does he feel that he needs to actually do things efficiently. And he said he has 12 to 13. And to do things efficiently and get things done the way us and the residents want, he said he thought he needed about 20 to 21 total. So that we're looking at about eight employees that our supervisor feels is needed in street. So that's just food for thought for budget time for whatever we're going to do to try to get that there. And that's just streets. There's still other divisions through DPW that we feel are understaffed, and I understand what the mayor said earlier about the budget and all that. And I think the public's going to just have to understand that is something we're going to have to deal with coming up in the future. And I guess at what price do we want the services that we still have, or do we not want those services? So maybe we need to get some information out, and anybody that's watching right now or watches it later, if there is a service you think you can do without, let us know. And if there's services that you like, which I'm sure if there's more services that you like than that you think we could do without, then let us know the services that you like, and know that to continue those in the future, we might have to take some steps to make sure that we fund those so that these things can get done. And with that, I'm done. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilman Bomano.
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Councilman Bomano. Councilman Stoyl.
Okay. I don't know who that lady is that wrote the letter to Edwin, but she must have got inside my head. Because those are exactly what I was going to comment on tonight. I understand the budgetary restrictions and restraints. We've got a water department who I think is very, very important to this city with the pipes and the things and the condition. We've got one man working in there. 2 guys bit out of that department have yet to go out to their new jobs. Hence, the neighbors are cutting grass. And I believe, if I'm correct in this, I'm sure I'm going to get corrected on. The police chief hires. He's the department head. He hires his men. The chief of fire. He hired. Isn't that Randy, the chief of the DPW? Why is he not doing the hiring? We need people. I understand the money, but I don't want to hear this. Oh, we don't have this. We don't have an HR. We don't. This is nonsense. Get these people on to work.
Sure. Could I respond to that?
Somebody.
Sure.
We have 5 to 6 reports of personnel change pending right now. The mayor and Roger and I have reviewed all of those. We're ready to make the moves. And after we get a few more things checked out, the one RPC that's completely approved was approved on Friday and it went into effect yesterday. We have a new chief operator at the wastewater plant. We have confirmation, even though the DEC is working from home and other regulatory agencies are working from home. We got confirmation that Mr. Bill Moore has been working for us for more than a decade. Is qualified as a 4A operator. He will have to take a couple of exams when those exam places are open, but his position as chief operator took effect yesterday. He's got a few ideas. He's got 4 operator trainees that are ready to get their license. We'll be posting our staff at the wastewater plant once those people get licensed. And we just recently got operator trainee licensed at the water plant. So we kind of hired from within, and all those people that have been waiting to get their license are now fully trained both at wastewater and at water. And the water person took his exam, passed it, did well. And he'll be on a rotation and save us there. The wastewater people will try to get them their license as soon as possible. I think Mr. Moore hit the ground. Mr. Vandenboer suggested when we've needed extra people to watch the brush pile, and it's the first time we've watched the brush pile, and we think having done that, it's absolutely necessary. When he gets somebody calling in sick, it puts a damper on that, and Mike and I have to rush between 7:30 and break time at 9 to try to find somebody. And even the wastewater plant to watch the brush pile from time to time. We have a longer term plan to address that, but we have moved people around to keep that open as much as possible. The chairman of the productive conversation that we should, rather than promise that we'll always be open at 7 o'clock in the morning, let's promise it will be open at 9 o'clock in the morning and close at 2. Somebody by 9 o'clock and get that open. So we're going to be, the opening of the brush pile will be 6 days a week at 9. And during regular work days, it'll close at 2. And then on Saturdays, we'll keep it open to 5. I think that's gonna, and it's important to have a sentinel there to keep it City of Dunkirk residents. Otherwise, it's really a ripoff to the city residents. They have to pay for the disposal of out of city debris. We wish them well where they happen to live, but we can't handle it as the city of Dunkirk is still pending. We went through the union process, took time to seniority. Mayor Roger and I worked hard on that over the last few days. And then of course the wastewater chief operator was the most time consuming to get the permissions from the state because they're essentially closed. Also, we don't have anybody full-time working at home in DPW. In order to meet the quota for so-called furloughed people, we got permission to delay the seasonal people, which is usually quite a number of people. And by not hiring them right away, they are considered the people we have on furlough. So it's they are whatever they're doing at home, we're not paying for them. It does cost us work. We would like to have the parks better trimmed. We'd like to have more people patching potholes, things like that. Maybe somebody watching a brush pile. It's what we had to do in order to keep things going, because I can't have as all of you have said, we all agree that DPW is so bare bones that if there's a word for more than essential, we're that word. And so we're working hard. Somebody had the incorrect opinion that maybe the operations manager, Pam was working from home. It would be impossible for her to get everybody paid and all of the purchase orders done and to keep DPW running without her being at her workstation. And we do keep the public out. So she's been working in isolation, but not working from home. The other person I'd like to call out is Shevsky, who could work from home a little bit, but what she does, she's so dedicated. She takes care of the senior citizens and also
Randy,
go ahead.
Randy, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What would we do if tonight there's a major water break?
We would have Rob call the people who are still there. We've got Steve, Jim, Tim Gatoka, and we would mix a crew and we put it together. We take care of it.
Thank you. That's what that's what I was chasing.
Okay, can I just call and make a shout out to one of my really great employees once, and then
Sure.
I'll shut up. Okay, it's Patty Plashevsky who I was leading to. She's just so dedicated. She goes into the senior center and checks the voicemails, and she calls. Some of these people leave lonely messages. She goes out of her way to call them back. I think that's fantastic. And Ryan, who's pretty much shut down with recreation, has volunteered to go over to the tree division and work with Mike, who's an added employee over there. So it's shown some true grit. The people in DPW and agreed we're short-staffed, but the people who are there, they're showing up and they're doing a lot of work, and I'd just like to thank them. And I'd like to thank you, all of you, for recognizing that they're working real hard and they could use even more help.
Mandy, there's no question. I know these fellas, and they are working hard. And I know that the COVID and all this stuff. But when you see them in the truck and there's nobody wearing masks, I don't want to hear about, they're worried about getting sick. Construction has started. The governor has let construction start. So I'm thinking, what's our holdup?
What's our holdup regarding what? These guys should be out there and they should be wearing masks. That has been put out there as a policy, and the DPW director as well as the supervisor needs to hold these folks accountable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Nichols.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. At a recent DPW meeting last Thursday, I brought up the need for a no parking sign at the point. And they said, I was told by Mr. Woodbury and Mr. Perpiglia that would have to go to the police chief. So today I did call the police chief. And do you want to give the report on that, Dave?
Yes, Councilwoman. I'm working with DPW Supervisor Mike Porpiglia. We'll look at the issues out there, and I think we'll probably put up more than one no parking sign to keep the people off those areas in question, and we'll get on it.
Thanks. Thank you. I have a question that's long overdue, and I did ask it on Memorial Day to Richard. Have the letters or the phone calls gone out to the tenants that are renting at the boardwalk about the waive on the 1 month's rent? Richard?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up, Nancy. Could you say that again?
On Memorial Day, I had asked you if you had sent out the letters or made phone calls to the tenants on the boardwalk about waiving the 1 month's rent. And you said you had not done so as yet. Has it happened?
No, but I'll have my paralegal do that tomorrow. She'll take care of that.
Thank you. It's a little late, but, and also they probably have sent in, if you could check to see who has sent it in and who has not. So
Yeah, we can move that to June. I'll talk to Mark about that, see who's paid.
All right, I just have one question here that, do we have any part-time employees at City Hall or in the Stearns Building that are currently working? Not, I mean, they're on the payroll, whether they're being at home now because of the virus and the stay-at-home policy. But I just like to know if we have any at all part-time employees in City Hall or the Stearns Building.
All of our employees, if they're working from home and on our payroll, if they need to come in to, for any reasons to complete their duties, they are allowed to come in to get paperwork and whatever it is they need. So to answer your question,
No,
what's
that's,
that?
no, that's a general, a normal, under normal employment, never mind the virus ordeal. Say 6 months ago, do we have a part-time employee?
Yes,
Why?
because he was needed.
Oh. And that person is qualified for the job?
More than qualified for the job. The city taxpayers are reaping the benefits of having a person that is well overqualified in his position, completing those duties for us.
No, I don't think we're thinking about the same person, but I will address it later. Also, I was approached by 2 food truck operators that want to know if they would be able to set up their cart somewhere in the city. That's what they did for events in our city summer long. But since the virus and all the things that stopped, the festivals and everything, they have been unable to do that. They want to know who they could contact to get information if they could still set up their two carts. I don't know who to talk to, where to direct them.
I just want to remind the council that if we do start approving that stuff, it'll probably be open to many of these folks that are going to want to come in. And we need to remember that our businesses have taken a huge hurting. And so I would be careful. I don't want to say that we don't want them, but I would just remind you that the businesses that we currently have, we're trying to help them to stay in business. And so it's been a tough time for all of us to deal with. And I understand that this is going to be a tough decision for us to make. We may disagree on it, but I'll follow the direction of council. Whatever you wish we'll do. But I'm saying to you that our local businesses that pay taxes here are the ones that we should be primarily looking out for.
Well, I promised I would ask the question, so if they're viewing, they can hear the answer. Thanks, Will. The playground in the 4th Ward. Don got a couple phone calls on it, and on Monday we did take a ride up to take a look at it. I would not even consider that a playground. It is a disaster. The fencing is coming down. There's no division between the tennis courts to the basketball, and it's just like a backyard play area for children. And the grass is high. The actual fence, the cyclone fence that separates the playground, the play area from the house in front of it is coming down. Can somebody go up there and take a look at it? The lady would be very grateful, right?
Yes, we certainly can.
I've got an excellent guy in the 4th Ward, and believe me, he's right on it, and he'll get good advice.
I've been
And he'll probably
driving
name is Jason.
crazy with high grass. And I just want to know, with what the contractors are charging, couldn't they charge the people that are letting these landlords letting their grasses go so it's 3 and 4 feet tall? Then the contractors come in and cut it, and they leave it like it's a hayfield ready to be baled for bales of hay. Couldn't we somehow impose another city fee. And maybe if you hit the landlords in the pocketbook where it hurts, they would take a little bit more responsibility on their property.
I can answer.
Richard,
So, Nancy, are you talking about the city-owned properties or the privately owned properties?
Private.
Okay, so the way that we've been doing that traditionally is inspections issues tickets or tags the houses
Right.
for cutting. And in this case, Glen or Allen would do that. And then if that doesn't happen within a certain amount of time, and Glenn could give you the particulars, then we send out the 3 different contractors. That was one of the resolutions we recently approved to do the cutting. They then get billed, and if they don't pay that bill directly, that can get tacked on to their tax bill. And that gives us the enforcement power, because literally if that adds up, they can be foreclosed on for that.
Well, I still think the rates that they're charging here are too small. And I have a man up the street from me. He has them come in only twice a year to cut his lawn, and it ends up being a very bad eyesore for us around taking care of our properties. And we have, with the virus, more and more people are outside working, and their yards are looking phenomenal. And then you still have this guy that only cuts it twice, has someone that the city hires to come in and cut it. He doesn't do it himself. They just need to be educated on the proper ways of being a landlord, and when to cut the grass, that's their responsibility. And that goes back to what Don was saying.
No, I agree. I live on a bank zombie house 2 doors down from me is grass that's over 3 feet high now. And I know we've tagged them. Whether they respond or not is a question mark. A neighbor tried to do it with a regular lawnmower and he nearly killed his lawnmower this Saturday. I know exactly what you mean. One of the things council can do is in the code, we define what the fines are for those kind of violations. So we can revisit the fines and raise them through a
I
local.
think that should happen.
Yeah, we
And
can definitely do that.
they would take more responsibility.
Councilwoman Nichols, can I jump in too with that question with you? I think you're also asking that instead of just sending somebody there to just mow the lawn, that lawn care service should also be asked to clean up all the grass that's left behind and dispose of it. And whatever that costs, then we just add that cost on to the homeowner. I believe that's what you're asking for too, right?
Correct, Don. Okay, and I want to hit on what Don was saying about the end of the pier. I was there yesterday. There were 3 cars that were at the end of the pier. There was no one in the cars. And I could not go around anyway, any of them. And I wasn't going to go on the grass. So I backed myself out to go to the first arrow to go and leave the pier. So it is very troublesome and troubling when people just feel that they can do whatever they want, whenever they want. And you just don't leave a vehicle there. I mean, it's not even designated with lines. Nobody didn't know where they went.
We'll have our police chief direct our patrols to periodically check that and address that accordingly.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. And also, when it's happening, just call the police desk at 2266. We'll send the car over right away. We'll tag them and move them.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Nichols. I just have a couple things. Police Chief Fortolano, thanks to all your guys and girls for a great job with the noise ordinance, with the vehicles, with the stereos blaring and the vehicles and the speed limits. I know you guys have been really working hard and it shows. And I did get a hold of you this morning. I'd just like to make sure that the council knows that I did ask you about the portable speed limit sign. See if we can erect that on some of the main roads in the city.
Absolutely. I did speak with Jason at the city garage. He'll start it out on Central, and then any other locations anybody has, as long as we don't have festivals and things going on, the sign trail will be available. Just get to me and I'll have them moving around periodically. And thank you for that. Also, we have written over a dozen or more noise ordinances in the last couple of weeks, and we've been on stop signs and speeders. So now we're getting the message out there that summer's coming, and we're trying to make things better.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. I appreciate your hard work and your department's hard work. Also, Fire Chief Edwards, if you can also send a message here, your man also, is that thanks for the help a couple weeks ago, a couple problems that the neighborhood had and a couple other people called. You guys are right on it. You guys took care of that. I appreciate it during these times.
I will. Thank you.
Rebecca, I do have a question on the CDBG. As far as the dispersing of the funds, I can't speak for everyone on the council, but the majority of them, we want to like to schedule a meeting with you and Jill. We have some ideas that we want to decrease some of the funds that are going places and increase some of the others. If we could sit down with you before we have to vote on that.
Yeah, we can schedule that. It first goes to take the mayor's recommendations, and then we have to make that public for public comment for 30 days, and then it would go to a resolution. So yes, let's do that before we go to our public comment period.
Yeah, because there's definitely some of those that are in there after your suggestions that we definitely do not want fund. And there's some that we need to add, and there's a lot of questions to that also when it comes to that CDBG funding. The council wants to see a lot of funds differently funded. So yeah, we definitely gotta make that priority number one. Also, talking about the positions, what I'm going to propose to the mayor and to the council. As far as the building inspection, we have two people that are 2693 management, and we have one that's assistant building inspector. My concern is I don't think everyone's getting out there to really start hammering these slumlords and these eyesores in nice neighborhoods. So what I'm going to propose is hiring Warren Kelly back part-time and having him train our department in that right now and go out there, because I know he did a fantastic job, and he had a lot of citations, generate a lot of money, and the council's been talking, myself and Don Williams, where we can find those funds coming out of the budget. But that's priority number one. I've discussed it with other department heads. They think it's a great idea, but we need to take charge of this. We all ran on this in our campaign. It's going on 6 months. And it just seems like we're getting bombarded with phone calls on this. So I'm going to propose this, but I will give everyone a call after this meeting and give you my ideas on it. So moving on to one other thing is that with these positions, I listen to everybody right now being council at large. Sit back and listening to everybody's point of view. It just, what it boils down to is that if these positions were filled years ago, like they should have been, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But unfortunately, this new council has to deal with it. So we're trying to do our best we can for everyone that's listening. I also like to thank Tommy Malachko for Memorial Day, for Memorial Day Mobile Drum Corps. I thought that was fantastic. And if you could relay that message to everybody, thought it was a small, but it was very emotional and a great service for Memorial Day. I take my hat off to everybody that was there and participated. Last but not least, I'd like to send my condolences to our city clerk, Edwin Ramos. He lost a loved one during the COVID-19. And I would just like to say I'm sorry and condolences to your family, and anything I can do, please don't hesitate. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Go to unfinished business. Seeing none, we'll go to pre-filed resolution.
Paul?
Number 69.
For unfinished business tonight, I just was checking we not that we have any resolutions or anything there, but back with that notification that we had from Mary Louise McGraw, did anybody, I didn't catch it because I was trying to write it down. Did anybody make reference to the question about the national fuel gas there and no gas going in there for that building there that we will co-own or whatever? Does anybody know?
Councilman, I can address that if you want.
Okay.
And Councilman Vandenhoover can correct me if I'm off a little bit, because he's the most expert natural gas person I know. maybe my family is pretty good. We know where the gas line is, and we'd be able to run directional drill and service that building without too much trouble. So I'm not too worried. Councilman,
Okay.
would you agree with me, Mr. Vandenhoover?
Yeah, I just I'm not going to be biased with the company I work for, but you are right. Looking, I really haven't pulled up the blueprint on it yet in the schematics, but there's a main, and you would have to do a direct drill. You would have to do a direct bore to that. It just makes sense if the city has any interest in it, which it does. It would run it, since you have gas to Dimitri's and you have gas to the boardwalk. It would be more efficient for the city in general. I'm not making that decision. I can't make that decision, being in the position of my job. But it just seems like if you need it, you can have it, because there is a main right there. If that makes any sense to you, Randy, and that answers your question.
Chief Edwards? Chief? Is he out there?
All right, pre-file
Go
resolution
ahead.
69, resolution awarding bid for
Hang on a
demolition
minute.
I'm here.
36 Canary Street, 207 Columbus Avenue, 49 East 2nd Street, 613 Main Street.
Hey, Edward, could you hang on just for a minute? I'm sorry about that. I just, Randy, did that answer your question I gave you? I just let you speak after.
May have another phone close to it.
You're breaking up, sir.
Randy?
Can you ask me again?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Stoll.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Chief Edwards about the use of propane down there. I don't know if he's got to that subject yet or not. I don't know if that was such a good idea, because there's no gas line there, and I would hope you wouldn't let big propane tanks go down there at the end of that pier.
As far as, as far as the specific code with that, I do not think it would be prohibited, but obviously there would have to be safeguards put in place in order to meet the current code. It's something that probably would have to be weighed cost-wise and protection-wise and safety-wise, because the space is limited, but I don't think it's completely prohibited.
Thanks, Chief.
Anybody else? Don?
No, I'm good. I just noticed that question wasn't really addressed yet, so I figured I'd do that before we ended the meeting.
Well, I mean, like I said, it makes sense if the city has interest in that, the $200,000 and the $100,000 that you would want to have all your utilities. Plain and simple. You wouldn't want to hook propane up to a $300,000 building. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not like a hot dog stand.
Right. I agree, and I don't think we'd want a propane tank out there either. So.
Thank you, Donald.
How did it get overlooked that it wasn't hooked up to begin with? Does anybody have that answer?
Yeah, the builder wanted to use electric heat, so that was his choice. Electric heat is not the most economical, or and it actually isn't as green as natural gas, because it's coming from coal-fired power plants in Pennsylvania. But don't get me going on that. So I agree with everybody, and we'll keep an eye on it. And if we can make things safe and right, when we get the chance, we'll do that.
And as we said at our DPW meeting, It will be at Pringle's expense, correct?
What's the question again?
As we discussed at the DPW meeting, this hookup for the gas is going to be at Pringle's expense, correct?
Those plans were already made, approved, and we're in construction phase. If they was not included in the plans and we wanted, it would be the city's expense.
But this is Pringle's building, isn't it?
Yes, and so he has the ability to, as long as he's within the code, he has the ability to go the way that he wishes to go. It's not something that we can impose on him at this point.
Even though we're funding 2/3 of it.
Excuse me?
Even though the city through the grant is funding 2/3 of it, we don't have a say.
Right. So, right.
But he can say
Rebecca,
It's Charles's project. Everything has gone through our building and zoning department and has been approved. Like if we wanted to bring in any private developer in there, they'd be putting their money into it, just like Charles is right now. And they'd be calling the shots on how they want to see the gas and electric come in. So that's, it was ultimately his call.
Rebecca, can I talk to you?
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt everybody, but I would like you to email me how to get a hold of Mr. Pringle, because I still have a person interested in that. And you said it was not in stone yet. My question is to you, I tried to get you in the office, but you were up. Who's going to pay for the equipment going in there? Coolers, this, that, whatever it takes to open that place up? Is the city going to be responsible for that, or it's Mr. Pringle? Or
No.
is the leasee going to do it?
I think Charles has some equipment that's going into it, and then the leasee will include the additional equipment.
Well, could you email me and let me know how to get a hold of Mr. Pringle?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you very much, Rebecca.
all right. Just one other thing I wanted with this, Rebecca. Like I said before, when you gave me the itemized list of what it cost and the contractor who did it, and the contractor's information and what exactly the grant cost compared to Pringle's cost. Can we have that itemized list and the contact people who's in charge of building this? Being a new council, we're getting asked a lot of questions about this building and what kind of participant the city has in this. Just like I was asking about the grant money at the point where that lean-to cost like $34,000 a bill, which I still can't believe it costs that much, but it seems like $300,000 for that building is just without a foundation. It's crazy. So we need to have these answers if we can get this from you so we can explain to all of our constituents.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Complete, I can get the final details.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, moving to pre-filed resolutions. Clerk Ramos.
Yes, sir. Number 69, resolution awarding bid for demolition of 636 Canary Street, 207 Columbus Avenue, 49 East 2nd Street, and 613 Main Street.
Any discussion, council?
Just to clarify again for the viewing audience, that is through land bank cost.
Okay, thanks.
I can speak to that. The demolitions are done by community development funds and matched by land bank. It's not at city expense.
Thank you, Bon.
Clerk, call the roll.
Make a resolution.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenmover.
Carry. Number 70.
70, resolution awarding bid for asbestos abatement of 636 Canary Street and 33 West 3rd Street.
Any discussion, council?
That also is through land bank funded. They're going to pay for it. One. Fine.
Yes, it's a similar financial arrangement. 636 Canary Street is outside of the community development zone that it can be funded, so that will be paid for the land bank. It's shared by community development and land bank funds.
Any other discussion, council? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Aye, carried. Number 71.
Number 71, resolution awarding bid for controlled demolition of 524 Park Avenue and 9-11 Jeanette Street.
Edwin, I have a question on that. Is that the address 911 or is that 9 and 11 on that? Jeanette.
I can answer that. That property has two numbers. It's a duplex. A two-family.
211, Paul.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Any discussion, council?
9-11.
Any other discussion, council? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Aye, carried. Any new business?
Yes, Councilman Large, I got an announcement from our very own Mallory Wojcinski. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
She, usually she does fundraisers at the events at the pier, and since a lot of that's canceled, she sent me a message that she's calling all Dunkirk residents. This is Mal Wojo. She's an amazing athlete. She's an all-star cheerleader for Buffalo Envy and is a huge fan of the cheer world. Her birthday is coming up on June 14th, and it would mean the world to her to receive cards from cheer teams. She will be 25. She's challenging all the college, high school, all-star, and professional teams to show her how much the cheer world loves her. Her address is 11 North Roberts Road, Dunkirk, New York, 14048.
I recommend we all do it. Thank you, Richard.
Welcome.
Thank you, Richard. Fantastic. Yep, she's a fantastic person. Very community involvement.
Yes, she is. And a
Any
first
other
one.
new business?
Yes. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to congratulate my fellow council members on, as much as it drove Mr. DeAugustino crazy, we were given a grade A for our council meetings and openness and transparency. As much as it drove him nuts, we still got the grade A, and we're the only ones in this area that got it. So congratulations, members.
Thank you.
Good job,
Thank
Paul.
you. Good job. Thanks for bringing that up, Judge. I appreciate it. Anybody else? Seeing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Williams. Second by
Nichols.
Nichols. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
You too. Thanks, Paul.
Have a good night.
Good night, George.
Good night, Doris.
Good night, Mrs. Calabash. Good night.